Good afternoon, everyone. I am delighted to be coming to you live this lunchtime. I would love it if you could let me know if you are live, if you can hear me and you can see me. Just want to test the tech before I dive on in. So if anyone is joining me, I shall wait a couple of minutes here to give a few of you a chance to get online. So if you have joined me, if you could let me know with a little comment, send a like or a little heart if you like, pop a comment, let us know that you're joining me here. So yeah, I will. I think I do have a couple of people joining. So yeah, if you could just pop a comment below, that would be fantastic to let me know that my speaker and all the tech is working before we dive on in. So I am talking to you today about blogging, about adding a blog to your wedding venue website. Hi, Amy. Thanks for letting me know you're here. That's great. We'll wait a couple of minutes, Amy, for some others to hopefully join us. But thank you for letting me know that you can hear me and you can see me. So yeah, we're going to be talking about blogging, about why you should have a blog for your wedding venue. And then also, most importantly, what sort of content you should put on it, what you should write, what's really successful, and of course, how do you manage it all? Because everyone here is super busy. Hi there, Stoke Park. Hi there, Ruth. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, those are the sort of three things I'm going to cover with you as to sort of why you should bother, what you should write, and how do you manage it all. So those are the three areas I'm going to cover for you. That'll probably take about 20 minutes, and then we'll allow a bit of time at the end for questions. So please, those of you who are on already, please do think up any questions that you have, either now or obviously pop them on as we go through, and I'll do my best to answer at the end. So hope everyone's doing really well today. It's been a bit of a funny weather day today, isn't it? It's kind of sun and now it's overcast, and I've put the light on in my office and I'm feeling a bit autumnal, which I'm not quite ready for it yet, but there you go. Anyway, let's dive on in, and the others can always catch up. So right, so what we're talking about is, should you have a blog? Why should you have a blog? Now, no surprise, I'm going to say to you that yes, you do need to have a blog if you don't already. I do see some venues that have a blog of sorts, but not that many. So, and I really think it's a massive area where there's a lot of potential. So, number one reason for adding a blog to your venue's website is the SEO benefits. So your search, your rankings in Google, ultimately what a blog will do, as opposed to your website, which has fairly static content. So once you've written the text for your website, that will change, but it doesn't change all that often. What a blog does with regularly updated content is constantly producing new text, new content that's wedding industry relevant. So what that does is it helps with your Google rankings. Now, I'm not an SEO expert, and I'm not going to claim to be, but that is something that hasn't changed, that ultimately the more relevant your text is, the more relevant to your audience, what you're putting out there is, the higher up the rankings that's going to go. So adding a blog is with regular updated content is going to help your search engine optimization. So when those couples are looking for venues in your area, you're going to have a greater opportunity to be higher up those rankings if you have an active blog. So that's number one benefit. Number two reason of why you should consider a blog for your venue is that it's a mechanism by which you can show a lot more than your website can. Your website is, of course, your key sales pages, and really important to get those right. And that's the subject of a different training. But with a blog, it's generally much more informal, and it's a real opportunity to showcase all the other fantastic things that you do that don't fit within the framework of the website. So it is more informal, and that's a perfect thing for tapping into working with millennials. Most of your clients will be, millennial generation clients in their 20s and 30s. There may be a few exceptions, but generally speaking, that will be your target market. So a format that's more informal than a website allows them to really get under the surface of what you offer, get to know your venue in more detail as to exactly what you do, your people, and how you do it. So a blog is an ideal opportunity for all of those, a place for all of those things that you do that you don't have a place on your website. It's not a dumping ground, it needs to be the right things. We're going to talk about that in a moment. So those are the main reasons why I think you should have a look at a blog. In terms of why I know it works, well, I do see some venues working it very well, and it certainly helped their rankings and helped their business. It's certainly worked for me. I've been blogging for my consulting business for a couple of years now, consistently, twice a month. I write a blog post, and that's helped me enormously. It builds that reputation. It allows people to know me just a little bit more. And that's really increasingly important to you as venues. It's not just about putting out information about your spaces. It is about showing a bigger and wider picture. And a blog is an ideal vehicle through which to do that. So one of the reasons that thanks for your comment, Amy. Glad you're finding it useful. That's great. Do, as I say, pop in any questions at any time, any of you that you'd like me to answer at the end. One of the reasons I decided to do this live on blogging was because it's something that some of my consulting clients that I work with one-to-one have identified as we've gone through things. It's an area that they don't feel that confident in, that they feel a little bit fearful of, both in terms of what do they write and how are they going to manage this with an already busy diary. So that's why I'm going to cover those 2 points coming up. So let's tackle first of all the what to write. Now this is an area I'm really passionate about, because I'm really excited, because there is so much material that you lovely venues can write about. I've come up with a bit of a short list, but which I hope will inspire you. But obviously I want you to think about things that will really work for you. So the most important thing to bear in mind with the blog is it is not a direct sales tool. So what we don't want on a blog is a repeat of your website pages, which talk about how fabulous your venue is, your rooms, that talks about ultimately your sales features and benefits. That isn't what a blog is there for. What you need to use your blog for is as a vehicle for education and a vehicle for inspiration. So both of those things, just bear that in mind as you're planning your blog content. So what you want your reader of your blog to come away with is having learned something that they didn't know before, and or being inspired with an idea that's kind of sparked something for them for their wedding, for example. So those 2 things are there to focus on. And a third thing, which is also something I've touched upon already, they should be able to get to know your team a little bit better through your blog. So one of the things I talk about when I talk about social media is how important behind the scenes is. People are really fascinated by what goes on in the planning and in the running of a venue, and whilst there may be some things you don't want to share, there are lots of opportunities to really show what goes on, either in refurbing a venue, in putting, I know Ruth here has a fairly new venue, all of the work that's gone into to creating that, and the incredible hard work. Talk about those things. People do want to know about that. I love seeing before and after pictures, for example. It's just fantastic, and people can really kind of get under the skin of what you're doing. So some other examples of topics. Let's have a little look. I've put some things down here. So maybe for a more established venue, how about doing a blog post talking about how a client should prepare for a show round. So they're going to go and visit lots of venues, give them some tips and information on the sort of things they should ask you as a venue, and the sort of preparations they should do before they come for a visit. So this can have a double benefit. In one, you're educating them and informing them, and 2, it gives you an opportunity to maybe deal with some of the little niggles that you might have when couples turn up and maybe don't have some of the information that you want to hand. So it's a really nice opportunity to inform and educate and it's to show your knowledge. So at the end of the day, when you're educating them, you want to show your knowledge, and lots of you here have a huge amount of knowledge. Hi, Gemma. I'm looking forward to having you back in the office tomorrow, Gemma. Gemma's my colleague, for those of you who aren't familiar. She's just joined the live here. So yeah, the idea of your blog should be really to share your knowledge, and lots of you who do many weddings have so much knowledge there, some of which you don't credit yourself with. So really help your inexperienced audience with lots of tips, lots of guidance. So some examples of that might be do a feature on some of your add-ons, some of the things that people bring in to bring your venue to life. So it might be a feature on lighting, and has a couple thought about how they can light up their venue when night falls. So that might well be explaining to them all the things that your venue has included, and all the things that you offer. But it would also be including things like your external suppliers, and perhaps some of the props and accessories that you regularly see. And that's a nice opportunity as well in that blog feature to credit and tag your preferred suppliers, and give them a nice shout out. Obviously, the benefit to you in writing about your preferred suppliers, if you share it on social media, it's very likely that they will share it, and your reach will be much bigger. So nice opportunity to talk about some of the trends and some of the things that you see week in, week out in your venues. Some top tips for next year's couples is a really good idea. Another idea might well be, I've touched upon behind the scenes and how important that is. So maybe doing a post on, how your team gets together at the end of the season, and perhaps plans menus for the next season or for the next year. Take some photos of your team getting together and the chefs in the kitchen, and maybe, just describe a little bit about that process of how you map out your new menus. That's really interesting to people. Certainly things like a day in the life of one of you as a wedding coordinator, the sort of tasks that you do, maybe what might be a typical day. There's plenty of opportunity within a blog to have some fun with it. It's not something that should be too serious. Yes, it needs to be professional, but you can inject some personality and some humor. So I hope that's just inspired you with a few ideas there of things that you can write for your blog. Obviously, really important is to bring your preferred suppliers into your blog. So consider some guest posts, some guest blogs. That's great if you want to do a dedicated blog on flowers, on floral design. Bring in one of your florists to talk about trends for 2019, for example. Anything obviously fashion and dress related tends to be a winner. So bring on board one of your bridal designers or bridal boutiques who you have a relationship with to talk about dresses. Yes, it's not venue relevant, but it's positioning yourself as an expert in the wedding arena, and that's massively reassuring to a couple who is inexperienced and needs some support, and actually they want to feel and know that you are part of the wedding industry, that you know what you're talking about above and beyond your bricks and mortar. So get the help of your team, of your supplier team, to help you with those things. It can be really worthwhile. So yeah, just looking down, I've got lots of comments here. I can't quite see them all, but thanks for joining. Oh, brilliant. Thank you. Welcome, Lindsay. Welcome, Catherine. Great. It's lovely to see so many of you on the live. That's brilliant. So yeah, so hopefully that's given you some ideas and some inspiration as to what to write. I strongly suggest having a brainstorm within your teams as to what you think will work for your venue. Feel free to pop any comments into the group if you want a quick feedback on a topic or that you're thinking of. By all means, pop it into the group. As you know, in this lovely Facebook group, I would love to get lots of discussion and collaboration working. So please do that if adding a blog is something that you're going to do this autumn, and I really hope you are if you don't already. I'd love to know actually if any of you who are on at the moment, do you have blogs already active? It'll be good to know. So do pop a comment in if you could. So the last bit of my of this session is, obviously I've been giving you lots of ideas about the things you can do, but I know that everyone is time restrained. This can seem like another marketing thing to add to your already long to-do list. So I want to give you some tips on how to make it manageable and how to get the best value from spending your time blogging. This is the way I work things, and it's worked really, really well. What I do is I plan in advance. You do need to get organized. I plan, or we plan our blog content. Gemma also helps with that. And we plan it a month ahead. So we write 2 blog posts a month, and they are written for the middle of the month for the following month. And we do that, I commit to that every month and write on different topics. I do have guest contributors, which means that helps a little bit because I don't write all of the blog posts. So I would strongly suggest that to you. But what is best is to really plan that ahead of time, look at it across perhaps a 3-month period and plan out your 6 blog posts that will be appropriate at that time. Obviously, there may well be things that are seasonal that make sense to do at a certain time. And then set some time in your diary to get those written. I would say as well, I'm focusing on blogging here, but you can mix it up with some vlogs as well. So doing some video blogs, some vlogs that would work really well. Tends to work best if they're transcribed, because from the point of view of rankings, you need the text to get the SEO benefit. So you probably need to transcribe what you've actually recorded. But if it's an easier format for you to record a video, if you feel more confident in that, then that's another opportunity. And it's another whole different topic, but anything video, film, live related is a winner. So yeah, in terms of writing your content, I mean, I go for twice a month. Obviously, the more you can do, the better. But I'm a big believer it's better to do to set something realistic. To go from nothing to promising to do 4 blog posts a month might well sort of send you into overwhelm. So start with something that you can manage. If it's 1 blog a month, that's fine. That's better than nothing. So don't feel that you have to go in blogging every day. That's generally the work of a professional blogger. You have a venue to run, so it's about making it achievable. But the most important thing is, when you've put that effort into your blog, you should really view that as we call it pillar content. So it is the foundation for being able to use that across your social media. So what I see some people making the mistake of is, excuse the background noise there, I think someone is doing something someone's doing something in my neighbour's garden. Sorry for any background noise you can hear. So utilizing that content across your social media is really important. I see a few people, spending the effort writing a blog. They put it out there on their blog. They put it out there once on their Facebook page, and that's it. That's as far as it goes. And that's such a waste for the effort that's gone into writing it. So what we do when we write a blog is it's scheduled across, snippets of that blog are scheduled across our social media. Literally, for example, a blog goes live, it will be scheduled on Facebook 4 times across 2 weeks, across Instagram 2 or 3 times, and across Twitter and LinkedIn in the same way. So snippets of the text are used directly from the blog. Obviously, it's mixed up so that it's varied, and also the images are mixed up as well, but that's all pre-scheduled so that that blog post with the link to that blog post is going out multiple times across the 2-week period that it's the most current and up-to-date blog. So make sure that you share that blog several times to get your money's worth, so to speak. Bear in mind, it may feel repetitive to you because you're looking at all of your social media content, but most of your readers are not. They are dipping in, dipping out, having a little look from time to time. And if you only post things once or twice, it will get missed and never read, which is a real shame if you're putting in all that hard work. So that's my key recommendation to you, is to recycle. You can also recycle blog content much further into the future. Obviously, once you've promoted it for a couple of weeks, give it a rest. but you can recycle things, you know, perhaps 2 months down the line, or if it's something seasonal, you know, and it's still relevant, you can pull that up next year and reschedule that again. So do have a mindset of recycling when it comes to putting the effort into a blog. So I think that's brought me to the end of the points I was going to make. It's just a little something I want to share with you in a moment, so don't leave me just yet. But do please pop your comments in below. Any questions, I would love to answer them now. If any of you would like to pop them in, it does take a couple of minutes for them to come up. So in the meantime, I just want to share with you a little offer that I have for my next training day in person. So I love these Facebook Lives, but obviously I love it even more when I get to actually spend a day in a room with you lovely lot and really go into much more detail. So my next training session in person is the 2nd of November, and it is already looking nice and busy. I do have 5 spots left, and I'm keen to sell those spots. It won't be a surprise to you. I do have an early bird discount, which is going to be closing next Monday, the 17th. So if you are interested in having a whole day dedicated to your wedding marketing and your wedding learning, then I'm going to strongly recommend this day to you. We cover lots and lots of topics. We go into a lot more detail about blogging, about photo shoots, about wedding directories, all sorts of marketing strategies, as well as sort of bridal psychology, and the whole sort of operational process of working with bridal couples. So there is stacks of information really to help you grow your bookings, expand your wedding business. And I would love to see some of you there. As I say, only 5 places left, and I am quite confident that they will be selling out quite soon. The early bird will run out next Monday, the 17th at midnight. So I'll pop a link in the comments underneath if any of you are interested in joining. I know Ruth, you have been on my training before, which is great. Yeah, but I can't see any questions. Do any of you have? Oh, here we are. Good. We've got a thanks, Catherine, for your comment. Good shout out on recycling blog content. Need to go and schedule some more posts. Yes, great. Please do. Please do. And very happy that you share them if you'd like to in this group. If you want a bit of feedback or a bit of encouragement, do share them in the group. And Ruth, your question: what do you use to schedule your social media posts? Okay. We use, I'm hesitating slightly on this because I actually have someone who does my social media for me. I have the lovely Jenna who schedules it all up. So I write it, I write the blogs, and I pick the topics, but she actually schedules it. She uses a combination of Hootsuite, and then some of it she schedules directly. I mean, you can schedule directly into Facebook your posts, but Hootsuite is one. And then I use Recurpost for recycling. So you will see some of my historical blog posts. We use Recurpost for that. So that is where you can literally take one blog post, and it will actually choose a pattern of recycling it for you across. It will actually pick the most advantageous times, and it will recycle that. So take a look at Recurpost as well for posts that are already live. If you're talking sort of scheduling up, as I say, I think Hootsuite is what she's using, but I might just check that one with her. As you can see, I quite like to delegate out that bit now. But yeah, I hope that's useful. Any other questions? I can't see any others. No. Well, if there is, feel free to pop any questions into the group. Really happy to answer them. And yeah, I'll pop a link into my 2nd of November training for those of you that might be interested. But thank you for joining. We've got a couple of more live training sessions coming up later this month. Gemma is going to be doing a live as well, so it'd be nice for you to see and hear from her. She's got stacks of knowledge there. So yeah, I look forward to seeing some of you again very soon. So thank you very much. Bye, everyone.